So for Thanksgiving break, I actually went up to the L.L.Bean headquarters in Maine, and we picked up some flies. Some of these flies I've actually never thrown before. Some of them I have, or I've thrown versions like them, such as these guys right here, if I can get them off one another. This is just your simple bait fish pattern, which in previous videos I've already said I loved. So picked up one of those. Then there's these guys, which I have not thrown. So there's like this dual segmented little streamer. I know it's gonna sound horrible. I'm probably butchering everything. It's this little guy. I'm excited to see how it is. Probably, if I had to guess, it's probably kind of a floating streamer. And then there's also this guy, which I am really excited to throw. Has this little weighted head. I think it's gonna have a ton of action in the water. I love the material it's made out of. I think that should do really good. And then I already have this one rigged up. Just a little bit bigger of a bait fish pattern. And yeah, if you've noticed, all these flies are white. If I'm kind of unsure which color to pick, I always go white, brown. Sometimes I'll go like a green pumpkin seed color. So we're gonna go try and catch a fish on every single one of these lures, kind of like the post fly box challenge. I'm pretty confident with these flies, so I think it should go pretty well. I'm kind of interested to see how it'll go. It should be pretty fun, and let's get to it. So let's see how this fly acts. I have never thrown this fly before. Thrown flies that are like it, but not this specific one, obviously. There's actually a fish right under it right there. GoPro, I know it doesn't pick it up. But what we might actually do here is give this a few more casts, see if they want to react to it, and then switch to one of the flies that sinks a little bit more. I like this fly. It's a really good, like, I'd say top water bait fish pattern. I'm not the best when it comes to identifying the materials that the flies are made out of, but it's this, I think it's this feathery stuff. If I could find it, this long guy right here, this guy right here that I'm pretty sure makes it float. I think there's like 3 like little feathers on there that really make the fly float real well. And I actually really like flies that float like this. I'm really big into subsurface and surface flies, especially around this time of the year. There he is right there. That's a nice fish too, guys. That's a nice fish. Nice fish. Nice fish. Nice fish. We have to land this fish. Oh my God, guys. That's a good fish right there. That is not a bad fish. That is not a bad fish at all. That is a good sized fish. Oh, we got a good hook in her too. We got a good hook in her. Let's go. Let's go, guys. Hell yes. Look at that. Look at that. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful hook set right there. I don't know if it, look at that hook set, just perfect. I mean, she wasn't going anywhere. Look at that little slot. Look at that little slot right there. That is a nice little fish to start the day off. Look at that fish. Healthy, healthy fish. Healthy fish right there. God, that's a good fish right there to start the day. Just give her a big mwah, and then just see her off. Boom. That's what I'm talking about. So you just caught a nice little fish on that. This is a really good fly. The back of this fly, it's really cool. So when it's in the water, it kind of opens up like such, and then these, like, I'd call it like kind of like a jellyfish action. I know it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, but it kind of like, just like, you know, if you strip it incorrectly, it'll kind of like pop like that. So we caught a nice little fish on that. We're gonna switch to this little guy right here, which I think is gonna, it might sink a little bit, but I wouldn't imagine a lot. But we're gonna tie this guy on, see if anything happens. So we just tied this guy on. Let's start throwing this little dude around. We're gonna just toss around in the same spot right here for a few minutes, see if there's anything else over here, and then we're gonna make our way around the pond and see if anything wants to take. So first impressions right off the bat with this fly. A lot of action. Sinks a little bit more than I thought it would, which I'm not mad at. Has a very good side-to-side action on it. Not hard to cast at all. It's a rather light fly. I absolutely love the color of this guy. So what I was saying earlier, or what I said really quick, is if you don't really know what color to pick for flies, I know a lot of the time when you go into a fly shop, they'll have like a lot of crazy colors. Maybe sometimes they'll have like colors you're not like even sure what they are or like what the purpose is. My tip is always to just buy, if you're in that kind of headspace, just buy your basic white color. Just buy white, gray, like a white, gray, or like I was saying, like a kind of like a bluegill pattern. I found that most of the times every predatory fish will pretty much take one of those colors. And yeah, you can, when you start getting into like one species a lot, you'll obviously be able, that was a horrible cast. You'll be able to like kind of judge what they like a little bit more. Like I know smallmouth are really big on white. I know they're really big on white. I've heard that pink really makes them mad for whatever reason. And then bass is, they're pretty easy to pick colors for, honestly. Again, white, bluegill, I'll fish a good amount of like dark colors like blue, purple, black. So yeah, it varies from fish to fish. Fish to fish, species to species, freshwater, saltwater. So just a quick update, that pond that we were just at, we obviously caught that one nice sized fish. That was in like the first like maybe like 20 minutes we were there. Fished for like another hour or so. Bite seemed to slow down a good amount. We were throwing that one little dual segmented streamer, which we're going to keep throwing. And we're also going to throw this guy, since I've never really thrown a fly like that before. I know they're common. I think we're going to skip this guy just because I think we already know that these are amazing flies. I've thrown them 1,000 times, and I can't imagine that this one's gonna do anything different than the other ones that I've thrown. So I think we're gonna skip on this guy, and like I said, we're gonna throw the fly that we're already throwing on there right now. Then we're also gonna throw this guy next, see if anything bites. We're also just gonna switch ponds right now. We're gonna go to a pond that's probably my favorite pond at the moment. It's pretty active all year round. So we're gonna see if anything wants to bite. If there's nothing there, we'll just go to another pond. Let's see how it goes. Of course. Oh man. So we moved, or we came to this pond. If you've watched like the past 2 videos, you're probably familiar with this pond. We come here a little bit more than the other ponds just because it's really active and you get bit quite a bit. And we just caught this absolute little dink of a bass. We'll let him go. I think we're just gonna we're gonna keep tossing this fly around just because that fish was so small. I kind of want to get a bigger fish on this fly. I know that this fly can catch a bigger fish. It's a really good fly. It has a ton of action in the water. So yeah, we're just gonna keep trying to, we're gonna try and upgrade. Okay, let's see if there's anything down here. So technically we did catch a fish on this fly, so I technically could change. I just kind of want to potentially try and catch a bigger fish because that little dude was pretty small. I know for a fact that this pond has bigger fish than that little dude. But I'll give this like another 10 casts and then we're probably gonna switch to that one fly that I've never thrown before because I'm really interested to see how it acts and what it looks like in the water. Okay, screw it. We're just actually gonna change. Just, yeah, forget everything I just said. So we're gonna change this guy real quick. Take this dude off. Put that in there. We're gonna tie this guy on. Try and get this guy wet. There's a good action to it. Sinks very fast, that weighted head. Has a bigger profile. It has a bigger profile in the water, which is actually really nice. Swims relatively good, I'd say. Doesn't swim, it doesn't have like a crazy action or anything. Has a really wide, I don't know if the GoPro picks it up, has a really wide, big body. Casts relatively good. So, good news is we did catch some fish. Bad news is we didn't catch fish on all the flies, which isn't the worst thing. I know that one fly, the last fly that we were throwing right there, obviously it's going to catch fish in the future, and we didn't use that bait fish fly because we already know that those catch fish. But other than that, I hope you guys liked the video. I definitely recommend you guys going out to your local fly store, or a big chain fly store, obviously, like Orvis, L.L.Bean, Bass Pro, your local fly store. Picking up a few random flies that you've never maybe fished before, never seen, look interesting to you. Just take them out one day, get out into the water, and hopefully catch some stuff. Learn something new, get into the sport a little bit more. But other than that, I hope you guys like the video, subscribe, comment. You have a good one.